Few people are ignorant or dishonest enough to cite Project Veritas, a group known for being smear merchants, as a credible source, especially when it comes to a serious topic of voter fraud. But some were shocked to find that last night over Twitter, Tulsi Gabbard, who previously presented herself as a so-called progressive, had shared this video using information from Project Veritas. Watch.
Right now, there are still many states in our country that allow for something called ballot harvesting. This is a system that allows for third parties to collect and deliver ballots for other people, potentially large numbers of people. Unfortunately, ballot harvesting has allowed for fraud and abuse to occur by those who could tamper with or discard ballots to try to sway an election for or against a certain candidate or party. Now, our vote is our voice. So whether in the midst of a pandemic, as we are now, where mail-in voting is likely to drastically increase, or even in a normal election, no one should get in between a voter and the ballot box. Now, while some states have prohibited vote harvesting or ballot harvesting, many have not, which again allows for abuse from third parties collecting and mishandling ballots.
So that is a talking point from people who are attempting to help Donald Trump disenfranchise voters, suppress voters. Ballot harvesting happens in many parts of this country, especially in rural areas where people might not have access to transportation. And so to ensure that people's vote counts, there are ballot harvesters who collect these ballots and then submit them to ensure that people who might not have the means or the transportation to vote have the ability to vote. Ballot harvesting is a process where a voter fills out an absentee ballot, seals it, and completes the necessary security checks before handing the ballot to another person to be submitted at a polling or drop-off location. The process is legal in 26 states. There has been absolutely no indication that there's been widespread voter fraud as a result of this. And so it's curious as you put out that video, where did this come from? Where is she getting her information from? Well, she did cite Project Veritas. I'm gonna give you the 2 tweets she put out there. She says, banning ballot harvesting is not a partisan issue, except it is, especially in this election. It's been used and abused in states like North Carolina and California and is ripe for fraud. That's why I introed HR 8285, the Election Fraud Prevention Act, with Rodney Davis, who by the way, of course is a Republican, to protect the integrity of our elections and our democracy. And then in a subsequent tweet, she writes, Project Veritas offers further evidence of the need to ban ballot harvesting. It's not a partisan issue, blah, 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 blah. I'm really a right winger. I'm hoping that Donald Trump gets reelected so I can serve in his administration. So let me give you the details on this Project Veritas video that came out. They're known for highly doctored videos. They're known for narrating something that's happening on camera that's not actually happening on camera. That's what Project Veritas does. They'll be like, oh, look at this transfer of money. And it's like, okay, but where's the money? What am I watching? They just totally make things up. This particular video was certainly no exception. Judd Legum from Popular Info did a great job debunking this video, where he writes, Project Veritas's video leads with this allegation, describing it as illegal ballot harvesting. They're specifically talking about someone in Minnesota who was harvesting ballots. And he says, this is false. In the video, O'Keefe cites a Minnesota statute that says you can only help 3 people return your absentee ballot. But that law was actually challenged in court, and in July, a court enjoined the law. That means it is legal in Minnesota to assist any number of voters in returning their absentee ballots. So the only concrete evidence in Project Veritas's report, the video of someone returning a large number of ballots on behalf of other voters, does not depict anything improper. So then there was a target toward Ilhan Omar. Allegedly, people doing ballot harvesting on behalf of Ilhan Omar were exchanging money and filling in ballots on behalf of other voters. They provided no evidence of that. They showed blurred images of random people who were allegedly, or not allegedly, they were saying that improper things were going on. We don't know who those people are. And it was the same tactic that Project Veritas used in other videos, like when they were trying to accuse Planned Parenthood of allegedly selling aborted baby parts. That was debunked. They used similar messages in those videos as well. I mean, the list goes on and on. But my point here is, the damage that's done by this kind of intentional disinformation is a complete dismantling of our democratic process, the suppression of votes in various parts of the country. She knows what she's doing. I don't think she's ignorant. I think what she's doing here is intentional, and it's absolutely disgusting that she's helping Trump and his cronies with his disinformation campaign.
Okay. So first of all, on the substance of the issue of ballot harvesting, there is two different things that it alludes to, and it is purposely misleading. One is collecting people's ballots and turning them in. Now, some states say, nah, it's still a little too risky, so we don't want that. So you're gonna have to turn in your own ballots. Totally fine, nothing wrong with a law that says that. Other states say, look, if there's groups that are gonna make sure that those ballots get turned in and more people vote, that's okay too. That's up for the states to decide. And there's nothing wrong either way. And if a state allows it, then okay, that's totally fine. What is not fine is what happened in North Carolina. So now Tulsi Gabbard makes a reference to that without pointing out that it was a Republican who was cheating and they had to redo the election. So a Republican staffer gathered the ballots and then changed them. No, that's a crime. That's a really serious crime. If you got evidence of that, I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat doing it, they should go to jail. That's terrible, okay? But you can't call both of those things ballot harvesting. That's ridiculous. So, and she's being purposely misleading by doing so. Why? What's the objective here? The objective is for you to have doubt about mail-in voting so that Donald Trump can wrongly claim fraud and try to steal the election. Now, if Tulsi Gabbard doesn't know that that's what the plan is, and she's being honestly a dupe, a useful dupe for that plan, that's really embarrassing. What might be more embarrassing is she knows and she's a willing participant. Then when she adds Project Veritas on top, she eliminates all doubt. Look, if you didn't know that Project Veritas has done doctored videos where they are heavily edited and they take situations out of context on purpose, you certainly had to have seen the massive national story where they made up the idea that Planned Parenthood is selling baby parts, an idea so preposterous that no one outside of a QAnon Republican lunatic could believe it, and nor was it in any way, shape, or form shown in their videos. If she still is vouching for them and saying, well, as Project Veritas says, they're doing ballot harvesting, and she's throwing Ilhan Omar implicitly under the bus while helping Donald Trump in his scheme to steal this election, well, we're done with that. That's it. I mean, if your main defense is I was too ignorant to know anything about politics nationally, that is not a very good defense, nor at this point is it believable. So this is pretty damning. Look, she went and met with Trump in the beginning, considered being part of his administration. I don't know that it was offered to her. If it was, I don't know if she would have taken it. Maybe she would have taken it at that point. Then she tried to gain power through the Democratic Party. Now it looks like she's gonna go back and try to gain power through the Republican Party. But whatever the grift of the day is, this is a very ugly look.
Yeah, and look, for all of the cultish Tulsi supporters who are coming at us demanding that we provide evidence that voter fraud isn't happening, like how stupid is that line of thinking, right? No, you're accusing people of committing voter fraud, you provide evidence. And Project Veritas and their edited videos is not evidence. Don't send me that garbage, okay? That absolute garbage. But there has been review of by federal judges, both Democrats and Republicans, or at least appointed by Democrats and Republicans, on all the various claims that Republicans have made recently about voter fraud. So let me give you the findings of those cases. This is the last graphic. A review of nearly 90 state and federal voting lawsuits found that judges have been broadly skeptical as Republicans use claims of voter fraud to argue against such changes. Declining by changes, it's like new voter ID laws and things like that. Declining to endorse the GOP's argument or dismissing them as they examined limits on mail voting. In no case did a judge back President Trump's view, refuted by experts, that fraud is a problem significant enough to sway a presidential election. So there has been investigation into this. There have been people who have looked into the potential of voter fraud, and there has not been any evidence of it. People know that. And so shifting the onus on people to prove that something isn't happening is ridiculous. They need to provide solid evidence and proof that voter fraud actually is happening. And yes, this is my latest victory lap in knowing who Tulsi Gabbard was, because I had the audacity to actually read and form a decision about her after doing proper research.
Let me give the last word to one of our members, tyt.com/join to become a member and be part of the show. So their handle is someone who likes Bernie Sanders, and they wrote in, Tulsi Gabbard, the congressional Dave Rubin. Oof.
100%.
Ouch, that hurts.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.